Brake cables are quite literally a lifeline. Fortunately, it's a robust system, but you do need to keep an eye on maintaining them in order to make sure that they're safe and that you're getting the best braking performance. So every now and again, replace the cables. It's not a hard job to do, and we're going to show you how to do it now. You are going to, of course, need some replacement cables, but in terms of tools, well, what you're going to need is an Allen key, generally a 5mm one, and a good quality set of cable cutters. And if you want to do a really professional job, you're also going to want a file, a bit like this, and a little pick like this, and then just follow our simple steps.
Firstly, as we're replacing both the inner and outer cables, we need to undo the upper part of our grip tape. If it's in good condition, do it carefully so that you can just wrap it back afterwards, but if it's not, why not put some new tape on whilst you're at it? You can find a link on how to wrap bar tape in the description below this video. Once the cables are exposed, take a look at how they are arranged against the bars before you remove the tape that's holding them in place. Now we'll start with the front brake. Loosen the crimping bolt of your Allen key, normally a 5mm. You can then pull the cable clear. If it's really frayed, then it's a good idea to cut that part off of your cable cutters to make things easier when it comes to getting the cable completely out. Okay, next, on our model of shifters, Ultegra a few years old, we need to undo this little cap in order to get to the inner cable. It's a really small screw, so make sure that you're careful and that you keep it and the cap safe. Other models of Shimano plus SRAM and Campag might differ slightly. Once you've done that, then you should be able to push the inner cable out through the shifter. Make a note of exactly where you'll need to push the new one back through. The outer cable for the front brake will also then be free. As you pull it away, make a note as to whether or not there is a ferrule on the end of the cable as it goes into the shifter. Then put it to one side, as you can use it for a marker later to make sure the new cable is the right length. Next, push your new inner cable back through the shifter. Do it carefully to prevent any chance of fraying. It might be a little finicky, but once you do find the hole, it'll go through easily, so there's no need to force it. Once that's done, replace the covering cap if that's relevant to your shifters. Now it's time to cut your new outer cable to the correct length, using the old cable as a guide. Right, here is where those extra couple of tools will come in handy. Use the pick to open up the inner part of the outer cable that you've probably crimped when you cut it. Then file away any sharp edges, and if you need ferrules on either end, put them on now. Before we do anything else, we want to make sure that the barrel adjuster is screwed most or all of the way in on the calipers. Then we can push the inner cable through the outer, and then slot the outer cable into the shifter. Give it a firm push to make sure it's properly in place. Next, place the inner cable through the barrel adjuster of the brake caliper and pull it through until the outer cable nestles into place. We can then thread the inner cable through the crimp part of the caliper. Now, what we tend to do at this point is to use one hand to manually push the brakes against the rim and then let it move just very slightly away from the rim, then pull the inner cable tight with your other hand and tighten the bolt down. There can be a little bit of trial and error here, but there's no harm in loosening and then retightening the bolt a few times until you've got the right feel for you at the brake lever. Now you can place the outer cable back against the bar and tape it into place using some insulation tape. Double check that the brake is feeling smooth and as you want it before cutting the excess inner cable, leaving about an inch showing and crimping the cable end cap on to prevent fraying. Finally, you can either replace the bar tape completely or rewrap what was already there. The process for the rear brake is very similar. Remove the bar tape, note where the outer cables are on the bars and take the tape off which holds them in place. Undo the bolt which holds the inner cable on the caliper, cut off any frayed cable, then remove from the caliper. Next, remove the first piece of outer cable which goes from the frame to the caliper, again noting whether there are any ferrules on the end. Place the outer cable to one side. Pull the next piece of outer cable away from the frame or frame boss, pull it from the inner cable and put to one side. Next, if you need to, carefully remove the cap which covers the end of the inner cables at the shifters. Thread your new inner cable through and replace the cap. Cut the new outer cables to the same length as your old ones and then file the sharp edges and use your pick to make sure that the inner cable will float through. If you don't have the outer cable or you're in doubt, marry it up against the frame and make sure that it's long enough that it doesn't affect your steering when you turn the bars from side to side. Thread the inner through the outer, lodge the outer in place at the shifter and place the other end into the frame or frame boss. Take the outer cable back into place on the bars using some insulation tape. Thread the inner cable through the last piece of outer cable, Then the barrel adjuster of the caliper, and place the outer cable into the frame or frame boss and the caliper itself. Finally, pull the inner cable through the crimping part of the caliper and repeat what you did with the front brake until it's feeling just as you like it. Cut the excess cable, crimp the end cap on, and then put some new bar tape on or rewrap your old tape. Job done. You should now have some very new, smooth feeling brakes.